Hey, it's Mike Brennan. We're doing another one of our MITech TVs. We're now into September. Hard to believe that winters just drag by on this day, but summers, poof, they're gone. Anyway, we have with us Christopher Stefani, who's the chief of staff at Lawrence Technological University. And there's been some changes, enhancements there. And I'm going to turn it over to Matt to lead the discussion. Take it away, Matt.
Okay, yes, and I retired officially from full-time employment as one of the PR people from Lawrence Tech, effective January 1st. So full disclosure there, I had been working since 2016 in marketing and public affairs for LTU. So first of all, Christopher, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Jens. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the new semester at Lawrence Tech, which started 2 weeks ago today, I believe. One of the things we wanted to talk about and that I've heard about and sounds pretty exciting is a campus refresh at Lawrence Tech, some remodeling going on. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we took on last year with our board of trustees, really looking at the campus holistically and taking a beat and going, all right, we're 90 some odd years old. We've had some really great new programs plug in. We've had some great new faculty join us. It's time to really take our look at our environment and see how is that translating the experience here at LTU. How is it really highlighting technology and practice and really bringing that forefront, future-looking campus together with the education that we've got programmed over here. So we took a holistic point of view and put on a series of elements that were on our docket for being addressed, from athletics to classroom facilities to gathering spaces, and really stepped back and said, you know what, and spoke with the students as well. And what we found across all boards was there was really a need for a student union, a gathering space. Traditionally, that's always been our atrium out of our Buell Building, which is really kind of the central heart of our campus. But it hasn't really felt like a student union always, you know. And so we really stepped back this year and said, okay, with the support of Aramark, who is our dining and campus facilities contractor, how can we really reimagine this space, make it somewhere more engaging, and a spot where you're maybe not popping through for an hour, but you're popping through for a couple hours for collaboration and study groups with your friends from different colleges and programs. So that's really the crux of where we've started. We have a lot of new branding initiatives coming up, a lot of new technology being incorporated in this space. We actually are working with a hologram company right now out of the West Coast to get life-size hologram machines installed into multiple places around the campus that'll act as an info system and touring system for future and prospective students. So really just looking at how we can take the idea of the technology and Lawrence Technological and embed that and make sure that we're refreshing our campus so it's putting our best foot forward.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about physically what's going to happen to what was formerly known as the Buell Management Building and is now simply known as the Buell Building.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have come in, we've repainted, we refloored the entire space. We have new lighting coming in and new furniture that's on order to be installed within the next month and a half or so. And then, like I said, a lot of new technology. So touch screens being put in, projectors where we're looking where students can start projecting presentations, or we can have kind of large scale events there with a central focus. Aramark has also redone the entire pod shopping system, which is like our little student cafe. We've expanded that threefold, as well as our dining facilities and options too. So really, it's besides building a new building, it's a complete revamp of that entire space.
So, and also I've seen some coverage in the news here locally in Detroit about these holographic, life-size holographic, more or less tour guides for students visiting campus or students on campus seeking information about events and where to go and things like that. I know I talked years ago to one of our audio engineering technology professors about the use of AI in that manner. Tell us a little bit about how those are going to work.
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. This is born out of our president, Dr. Soap, traveling out to the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show last year out in Las Vegas, and he ran into this company and came back glowing about them. So they're almost like your typical kiosk that you would see in malls or on street corners. They're about 6.5 feet tall, and they are a straight holographic glass, piece of clear glass machine. And what we're going to do is actually activate our students and our professors to give different information about the college that the prospective student or student is going into, wayfinding elements about how to make your way to different sections of the building. And that will all interface with sound and, I would say, video, but actually holographic image that's projected inside of these machines that has a sensor for when you come up to it. So it's really taking the idea of an AI or a holographic wayfinding kind of assistant and bringing it to a whole new level. So we're really excited about that and seeing how those can start playing off of each other depending where you are on campus.
So this is like Princess Leia saying Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of thing, but just a lot bigger, right?
Our whole vibe is Star Trek here. How do we make this the Star Trek or the Star Trek Enterprise? You know, as we're looking forward. So it's exactly that kind of technology brought to real life.
Huh.
Very cool. Also, Lawrence Tech has been adding a slew of new degree programs lately. A lot of them have been in health sciences, which is obviously a really rapidly growing part of the economy, because us baby boomers aren't getting any younger. And tell us a little bit about a couple of new programs that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? We do have some new programming coming up in health science, and that's really brilliant. And even looking at areas like telemedicine and those whole kind of spaces. But we've got two brand new ones between our College of Arts and Sciences and Engineering that I think are really kind of intriguing. The first is Masters in Cognitive and Human Factors, and that's really a psychology-based degree. And what it's looking at is how do we as humans interface with technology, and what are the best practices in that space from a technological aspect. So that is a 30 credit graduate degree that becomes either a 2-year program if you're walking in off the street, or it becomes a 4+1 if you've got that bachelor's in science from LTU. So you're looking at a 1-year add-on in that program. And again, it's really about how people think, perceive, and interface with technology. And if you think about it, when we even go back to College of Health Sciences and talk about telehealth, when we talk about this kind of wayfinding with the holographic machines, this is exactly what that degree focuses on. How do we as humans cognitively interface with technology, and how can we take the knowledge that we know on the back end from data and metrics and start designing better technology and better solutions. And so when you think about in a day and age where we have autonomous cars, when you think about in a day and age when we're talking about telehealth and telemedicine and being able to recognize things early on with your cell phone, this is one of those degrees we think is going to be at the crux of the next generation of leaders in this country and across different industries, whether that be again in the automotive space, the healthcare space, the design space, kind of a rung of programs there. The other thing that I think is really interesting that we have coming up is our Doctoral of Engineering and Advanced Manufacturing. And that really is taking in that Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0, the new advances in technology, and gearing this towards professionals who are already in the workspace, whether that be in the automotive manufacturing space, whether that be in the tier 2 or the multiple kind of layers and suppliers of manufacturing that we have in the area, and look at how do we look at advanced manufacturing and how can we streamline that process, really creating sustainability and embedding the new and emerging technology, whether that be AI driven or whether we're just looking at straight data analytics. So those are kind of two crux of areas that I think we're expanding into that I think are going to be a really good success for us. Again, not only looking at how we're educating our undergrads and putting them out to lead these industries, but how can we engage people at the graduate and doctoral level and help them in their career pathway there as well.
Will just let me leap in real quick. Will Centrepolis be playing a role in all this at all, or not?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. As you know, Centrepolis being the hard tech accelerator, one of the preeminent ones here in the state that are part of the Lawrence Tech family, we're in the best shoes possible to be able to hear not only from the end users, and the new companies that are starting up and where the gaps are that they're running into along this way, but also from the large corporations and the gaps that they're starting to see in this space. So we're really kind of in this beautiful spot where we're able to identify the blue ocean in this advanced manufacturing space and start putting the expertise together. Again, bumping home that theory and practice, right? How can we look at the practical elements of what we're seeing in the economy and come in to plug in that theory and get you thinking critically about those issues?
All right, and I did want to mention that this doctoral program is part of an overall push at Lawrence Tech, right, to become a more complete, comprehensive doctoral research-based institution. It is the goal eventually of President Tarek Soap to get Lawrence Tech reclassified as an R2 research university, up from its present status as just a uncategorized research university. And I know research sponsored funding for research has gone up at Lawrence Tech from maybe $1 million 10 years ago to over $10 million now.
Yes.
Without getting overtly political, that is increasingly challenging. But overall, how's that going?
Really, really well. You know what? You're spot on. The view of getting to an R2 is inherent to this institution and the direction set out by Dr. Soap. The funding aspect has actually gone very well. We're in this place, as you know, Matt, being a private institution where we're very agile. We're able to work alongside our 800 plus, corporate partners. And so when you look at that research, we're doing funded research that isn't necessarily just sitting inside of your large buckets of federal grant funding, the NIH, the NSF, and we're being very successful in those spaces as well. But we're really taking an on-the-ground approach to funded research when we're working alongside some of our big partners, Fortune 500 companies, as you know, and looking at how we can identify their issues and work alongside them to develop new technology and new IP, and that has a funding element to it as well. So that's been really great. The funding has actually not been our hurdle. It's making sure that we are graduating the consistent number of PhDs a year through the program. And so when we talk about the expansion of these doctoral programs, this is part of that mission to help us drive this home. We've always been a comprehensive doctoral university, but making sure that we're looking across the board at what are some of the innovative spaces in that doctoral field and where we can get a couple more people in that pipeline, that's going to help us reach that R2 goal.